Hello. I'm sure most people in the room have heard of Great Ormond Street Hospital. Great Ormond Street Hospital received over 400 million from the UK government in 2017-18. So this is a rich hospital in a rich country. So the question is, why do they need charity money? So in the same year, they invested 17 million in equipment for the hospital, because government doesn't always provide everything that hospitals need. But they also invested in housing for families of sick children. So when your child is ill and you have to go from, let's say, Lincolnshire to London, the last thing you have in your head is where you're actually going to spend the night. So assuming you had a baby who needs to go into hospital, and you have a 2-year-old, and perhaps you're a lone parent, the last thing you would worry is where you would spend the night. So they spent quite a bit of money providing housing for families. So if Great Ormond Street Hospital actually needs charity money, what do we actually need in Nigeria? So that's really the question. So in 2015, the United Nations gave most countries 17 goals to actually reduce some of the inequality we face in the world. There are 17 goals, but I'll just pick on a few. One of them is reducing poverty, zero hunger, and improving the quality of education. But also, importantly, they talked about working in partnerships. So you can't be a lone wolf. It's not a battle that anyone can win alone. Subsequently, they produced this slide on the layers of inequality that people and countries face. So if you were born in England and you were born in Nigeria, you don't actually, life is slightly harder. It's going to be harder for you in Nigeria than it will be in the UK. And if you are fortunate that you're actually born into a low-income family, coupled with where you were born at, that actually increases the hardship that you face. But also, if I give this example, which actually explains this. So this is Bill. He's male. He was born in the United States. The climate is stable, predictable. He was born into a middle-income family. He went to a good school. And in the United States, they have a good governance structure, very little corruption, little or no corruption. And you compare it to Melinda, who is female, but similar to Bill in all other respects. Melinda is going to actually have a slightly harder life than Bill, generally, just talking generally, but there are differences. So think about a girl who's born in one of the Sahel countries. The Sahel countries are countries between the west and east of Africa. So we're thinking about Nigeria, Senegal, Chad. And if a girl is born in one of the Sahel countries, she's disadvantaged. So she's got to face all these obstacles. So she's female. She might be female. She might be a Christian living in Borno State. Her schools may have been closed, so she doesn't go to school. So ends up with no education, and she comes from a low-income family. She has no access to education, no access to healthcare. And we think about the governance problems in Nigeria. So what kind of life do we think that this little girl is going to have? But research after research has shown that people who have many difficulties will have a harsher journey in life than people. So the more than other people who are born into countries that are stable and have fewer difficulties. So let's talk about Nigeria. Depending on who you listen to, we actually we're about 200 million. So the figures get bounced around between 170 and 196 million. We're a very rich country. Our average life expectancy is 54 years. But when you think about countries like Ghana, who have 63 years, life expectancy of 63 years, and countries like Kenya, who have life expectancy of 67 years, we're not actually doing that well. We have the highest maternal mortality rates in the world. Nigeria is one of the worst places in the world to be pregnant. 6 to 10 women don't have access to contraception. But also, we think that we're rich, but the money, the government raises is about 6% internally. Most countries seem to raise about 15%. But how do we then convince people that they need to pay more taxes when we don't actually have the governance structure and the efficiencies to manage our budget? And we actually spend very little amount of money in healthcare, both primary healthcare and public health. So, like Johnny said, in 2015, I had this crazy moment. I left my job, I went to school. And whilst at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, I knew there were problems in Nigeria, but it was just as if they were multiple. And I met someone, I met Karen, and we were all, it was like, wow, this world, what are we going to do with this degree we've acquired? So at the end of our degree, we decided that we'd open up Be a Sister Foundation. So my name is Ikunna. I'm sorry if my talk might be medical, but I'm biased, so forgive me. So the aim of Be a Sister Foundation was to use our health knowledge and our experiences to educate, especially young people, to actually make themselves better.